Hello, hello, hello. We are live. This is, or I am Keisha, one half of the hosts of the Regal Mindset podcast show. Jay, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I am Dr. Joy, the coach. I'm the other half of the Regal Mindset Show, and I am so glad to be here today.
Absolutely. So tonight you are not tripping. This is not Friday. We had to adjust our schedules just a bit, right? But we also wanted to have this wonderful conversation, and we want to include you all in this conversation. So I am going to drop the link in our Facebook pages, as well as Coach is also going to drop the link in her Facebook page as well. So you guys can click and join there. Here we go. All right. So listen, tonight's subject, we're talking about, if you could change, would you want to be extra light skin? or,
Do you
or
want to
what
be
we say?
flower powered?
Flower power. I love that. I love it. I love it. So yeah. So I think it's telling me that you do not have access for some reason. Yeah, Facebook. I don't know why.
Okay, we'll figure that part
Yeah.
out.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So yeah. So that's the conversation for tonight. What we hope is that you all again would join us in giving us your input, your thoughts. If you could wake up tomorrow, right? This is kind of like the Chris Brown song he used to have, Freaky Friday, I think it was. It was a movie as well.
Mhm.
And he woke up in someone else's body. It was happened to be a young white guy. And the other guy woke up in Chris Brown's body. So that's sort of that's along the lines of what we're talking about. If you had the
Mhm.
ability, if whatever reason you wake up tomorrow and you get to choose, would you want to be white?
Right. My answer is no. And I think
Mine's is
that's,
no too.
yeah, mine is absolutely not. And and the crazy part is I saw this conversation on TikTok, of course, and it was from the I want to say 60s. I think it was in the
Mm,
60s. And it was a gentleman, and he was, in school, and they did this experiment where like they had all different races at the school over the weekend, things like that. And they were just trying to mix and mingle them in. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then they asked him, don't you want to be white? He was like, no. And they was like, but why not? They was like, he said, why would I? He said, I'm an American, unfortunately. He was like, I don't want, there's nothing about you all that makes me says, I want to be this. He said, now, because of the constraints, yes, I have to mimic certain things. Well, emulate is what he said.
okay.
Certain things like the way we dress when we get in certain spaces to make you comfortable. This, and he went on and on. And so it just set with me. And I'm like, come to think of it, no. Because now, granted, I think everybody has had that conversation in their head. What would it be? Would it be a better life if?
Mm.
But then let's think about it. Is it? Is it though? Is it ready? Will it be a better life? Just because we know that in America it's more accepted.
Whoa, we lost her. Okay. All right. So as she dials back in or comes back on, I'll finish my thought process. Absolutely not. I feel like some people might lean towards
Mm,
saying that they would like to, for the benefits, like you were saying, for the career goals, right? The constraints, or not having those limitations. I think the influence, I think some people would lean in that direction for those benefits.
right.
That means I'll speak for myself. I would not want to be able to turn it on and off. I want to be my authentic self. I
Hmm.
want to live in the body in which God gave me and created me in. And I will deal with the things that I need to deal with as they come. So it was never for me a question of whether or not I wanted. Now, when I was younger, I did want to be able to feather my hair.
Really?
Then, yeah, yeah, because when I was a kid, my mom, she did the best she could, I guess, with managing and taming my hair, but it's very
Mhm.
coarse. And for me, or as a kid, like I had to go through these phases where I didn't necessarily like my hair. I didn't like I was in the Jerry curl phase. Man, I'm aging myself right now.
I remember them. I remember them days.
And it was just so many things. So I was not in love with my hair. At
Hmm.
this stage or at this season in life, I love my hair.
Right,
I love
right, right,
everything about my hair. But it
right.
was a process and I had to get there.
I can get that. And I think my impact came in. Well, I mean, of course, growing up in the South with colorism.
Mhm.
So dealing with that, I still didn't want to be white.
Hmm.
I didn't. They were the opposite of everything that was good. So I didn't want to be that. Now, would I have wanted to benefit like them? Yeah. When it came down to when I got in business, then it started. Because even in school, you was still second to me. Like, I don't care. You was still second to me. You wasn't. You. There was nothing you could do to be over me, and I've always had that air about myself.
Mhm.
And maybe that's always been the problem because you ain't nothing. You know, I even had this guy, this job I had started about 3, 4 years ago. And oh, that was the quickest job I ever got and quit on the same, like within 2 days. Because first of all, you dip snuff and then you're talking to me, and then you're going to say, I'm your superior. But when he said that, that struck a trigger in me. I cussed him from A to Z. Superior. It was crack of this. It went like the whole antebellum South came up because it was a trigger. No, you would never think you're better than me. And even if he didn't even mean it that way, that's the way I took it.
Mhm.
So I could have been wrong. I don't even care at this point. And
Mhm.
so, no, I never felt they was better.
Mm.
They
That's
were
interesting.
everything disgusting
Mhm.
because of the what we've had to endure
Right.
and being down south, what I saw with my own eyes.
Mhm.
So there was nothing about them that wanted me to be them. And even when I got into business, you know how you code switch to fit in enough
Mhm.
to make them comfortable. And then I had to switch out of that too. Like, wait a minute. No, you need to make me feel comfortable as well. Because if we think about it, when we were in high school and they took us through that class to resume and how to shake hands looking in the eye and how to dress, that was based off of the acceptance of those that were in charge for the hiring and firing.
Mhm.
Then now we got the newer generations. They're coming there with a bonnet and red hair. Matter of fact, I was at the Maryland office today, and two of them had red hair, and the older one had blue hair.
Oh,
All three of them was on their phone. It was just a lot of things that would have been that is so unacceptable to us being raised to see things different.
absolutely.
Now just imagine if but that was in an all black office, so they didn't have those parameters in which how we was raised to have certain parameters in the workspace.
Copy. Yeah.
So I see where it impacted me, but your color, no, you can't even stand in the sun, homie. No,
Hmm. I didn't even consider that part. Yeah. Oh
yeah,
wow.
you can't even stand in the sun that long.
Wow. Okay.
Like, just imagine your hair is so flat and lifeless that you can't even style it. There's nothing natural about you that is creative enough. There may be a few one offs,
Mm.
but as a race, as a group, what you doing? River
Mm.
dancing?
Ah. Listen, I will say, I will say, I love me some exotic women.
Don't get
Period.
caught up.
Okay, listen, that's a fact. You can look at my track record.
I know, right? You love
But
them light and bright.
okay, listen. But I will say, I'll say this also. I did not have any negative relationship or association for the most part with anyone who's light bright. Okay,
Right,
I just didn't. I remember distinctly when we moved from New York to Birmingham and going to school. I was 13, and that was the first time that I ever really was able to understand and kind of sit in the fact that racism actually exists, and I'm
right.
living in it now. That was
Mm,
the first time. This is 1988. Up until that point, I was in my own world. It never bothered me anyone else's skin color, tone,
mhm.
family, generics, background. Nothing of that ever crossed my mind until we moved to Birmingham, Alabama.
Man, yeah, I see.
Yeah,
Birmingham will open up your eyes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
See, yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say what's interesting is that I think if we were to poll people from the South versus people from the North, that we would get very different answers.
Right. Because, we were told light skin was pretty. So the lighter you were, the prettier you were.
Hmm.
And then it wasn't until I got older, and I'm like, oh, them hoes ain't pretty. I done seen some mixed breeds, and I'm like, they shouldn't have mixed you. It didn't come out quite right. Just because you got curly hair, yo, you ain't mixed well.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that was something I had to break because of that, I only dated light skin.
Mhm.
I knew I was gonna have a light skinned kid. Did I want to be light skinned? No, not really. I loved my color. Other people didn't.
Mm.
And they made sure I knew. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and I mean, it was really my family, especially my grandma.
Uh-huh.
She had a problem with it. Nobody else had a problem but her. She had a
Yeah.
problem. And if
Yeah.
she could have washed it off, she probably would have. But outside of that, but she was a big part of influence because I wanted her to like me.
I got you.
Me and my sister, my younger sister, we had a conversation a few years ago after our mom died, and we was like, why do we still feel like we're trying to get this woman to like us? And so, you know, that was the basis of my dislike when it come down to color.
Mhm.
But moving into the workforce and in the public and in school made me look even further to say, yeah, I don't want to smell like y'all. I
Mm.
don't want to. There's nothing. I can deal with, and I will honestly say I'm very prejudiced. I know
Oh,
that for
really?
a fact. Yeah, I'm very
Okay.
prejudiced.
Oh,
This
wow.
it's inherent. You know, I don't, as a group, I don't like them
Oh, wow.
at all.
Okay.
Almost to every time, yeah. But
Wow.
I can get to know a person and
Yeah.
I'm okay. But I have to get to know you on an individual basis to be okay.
Yeah.
And then that's only within limits because there's no trust except in the realm that we operate in.
Okay.
Even if we're at work, I absolutely don't trust you.
Yeah.
I don't care how nice you are. Absolutely not. Because I know that there's something about me you don't like.
Hmm.
And every instance that I've had, my first job was at Barnett Bank. And I was 15. When I left, I think I was like 16. The manager, she hated me and she made sure everybody knew and I knew. Back then, they didn't have parameters like what you couldn't say, what you couldn't
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
She was, and I was the youngest one. I was a teenager. Everybody else was adult. She was horrible to me. It's nothing that woman didn't do. Like, I remember one time, one of our coworkers, he was behind me. He had a seizure. So when somebody yell out, you're automatically going to turn and see what's going on.
Mhm.
He's on the floor, and it was like within seconds. I'm looking on the floor. She got in my face. Turn around. And I'm like, she just treated me like that all the time. And yeah, from my first experience, it was been down the hill ever since then. So I
Yeah.
don't give them. And then when I deal with Black individuals that give me the same feeling,
Mhm.
You in that same box.
Oh wow.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what made me write that book, Whiteface, The Whitewash of the Black Mind, because
Yeah.
of black people that act like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the white of your skin, it's your whiteness. It's your what you inherit, what is inside of you. And no matter how nice you are, the N word lies in there.
Mm. That's
Even
sort
if
of
you, yeah, it's
that
in
sort of
there.
privilege type of
Exactly. Because the
arrogance.
moment, yeah, and the moment you get mad, it's like dating an ugly woman. You get into argument, the first thing come out your mouth, your ugly self, because that's the truth. So when you get mad, if that word come out your throat, that's your truth. Because when people are mad, they tell the truth.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, no, there's nothing about them that even in spirituality, you wasn't even in the Bible.
Oh man.
I mean,
Listen,
tell me where I'm lying at.
I'm not gonna argue with that. I will say that I just had a very different experience, and
Mhm.
I acknowledge that. Again, I don't want to speak for my wife, but I feel like she may be along the same lines as you. She has a very strong dislike.
You do.
Uh, but then I can also say that she has some very close people in her family that
Mhm.
or even like family that are of another race that she loves dearly, and you can't tell her that they're not related, you know what I mean? So
Right,
it's
right, right.
I can't it's just not been my experience, and I can't generalize the entire race because again I've had really good relationships and friendships with people of other
Yeah.
nationalities and other races. So that hasn't been my, but also at the same time, I've never not wanted to be that race. Now I
Now, do
might
you
like
think
them.
it right? But do you think that that has something to do with your military because y'all were integrated with each other and had to? It's like that understanding of relationship in the military that y'all had.
Right. I would say no because I
Okay.
had that mindset and that posture before even going to the military. So when I went to the military, when I went to the Navy, I was 24 already. So I
Good.
already had a good sense of self and how I relate and operate out in the world. What I did not or was uncomfortable with was just the sexuality part for me.
Hmm.
So the exchange or the relationships that I built even going into the military only doubled down or only echoed what I already felt, right? Like you
Right.
couldn't tell me like if this soldier or this sailor was of another race, that's still my partner. That's still that's my battle buddy. That's
Hmm.
still my partner. That's still my whoever they are, you know.
Right.
So I can't again, I can't that was just never my experience. Now, of any race, there's always been people that I've encountered that have either, left a bad taste in my mouth, but there's some black people, there's some white people, there's some
Hmm.
other nationalities who have also done the same. So, but I just don't put them in all in the same category. That's
Right.
all I'm saying.
And I try not to. I've
Yeah.
thought about it, but I can't. I thought about it and I'm like, I can't. Like I see you all the same,
Yeah.
except if there's something about you that makes me want to see different. Like, for example, in our community, our church community, we have a white guy, his name is Steven. I
Hmm.
absolutely adore him. Like I would inhale every bit of him. I love him. But if it wasn't for the fact that he was born white, you would not know he was white. Not
Yeah.
because of his mannerism, just because of how he deal, how he talk, how he understands.
Hmm.
And he would be like, no, that I will fight for him. I will burn down bridges for him because he's different. And it would probably be like one or two other ones, but no. But it's
Gotcha.
like, when I first met him, nothing said white about him.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that because I can build a love relationship with somebody like that.
Mhm.
And when I was in high school, one of my best friends was actually white. We got
Mhm.
along very well.
Mhm.
And the only thing we outgrew was I moved and she stayed in Jacksonville. That was the only thing that separated us as friends. That was it. We didn't have a falling out. Not that I remember. We didn't have a falling out. We was in healthy competition in school, so never had a problem with that. But overall, absolutely not.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if and I seen this one lady on TikTok. She said if she pull up and there's a homeless white man out there, she said she would not give him anything. And I said, you know what? I kind of understand that
Hmm.
because they're the most privileged,
Mhm.
and most of them, because I'm not going to put all of them in the category, most of them have a embedded and inbred thought that because of their being they male and they're white, that they are number one.
Mhm.
So for the fact that you need me, then you're gonna need me. So I get it from that perspective. I might even help. No, I don't know. If I see a Mexican on the side of the road and a white guy, and the Mexican selling flowers and a white guy on the sign, what you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get that $20 from the flowers. He out there with the same hustle, he just ain't got a sign.
Mhm.
you know and I look at things differently on that aspect. Not that I would just go out my way not to help, because we pulled up to the light one time. There was a young guy, but he had a trumpet. I said I was gonna give him the money anyway. I said play something, just see if he could play. That dude started playing. I said, wait a minute, why is you out here? I mean, even if it was just the only song he knew,
Yeah.
you can tell good music.
Yeah.
So I gave him all the little money I had in my pocket, because I'm like, dude, you got real talent.
Yeah.
But then there's some, I'm looking at them, and it's what's that president? Ah, Lyndon, I think it's Lyndon. I'm gonna fact check myself. But he said if you take the poorest white man and make him feel that he's greater than any black man, you can get anything from him that you want. And if you can look back in time, a lot of the slave catchers, the ones they put out there to work,
Mhm.
were always the poorest of poor white, because they just didn't want to see that we were better than them on any level.
Mhm.
And it's like that's a common thing in their head. That's the reason why when they come to you and you're looking good, what
Yeah.
do you do for work? Don't worry about what I do for work. You're trying to compare,
Yeah.
and I'm not giving you that space. I work. What
Yeah.
about you? Because now you're trying to count my dollars, and I'm taking it just like that.
Mhm.
Because why is that a conversation piece? Why you just can't say you look nice? I really like your outfit.
True.
No, you want to find out what I do. That's not your business. What I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. That's interesting because you're absolutely right. That has happened to me many times.
Yeah,
And then almost all the time I answer or respond, but now I'm thinking like I don't really owe you that.
yeah. This not Southwest. You ain't got to
Yeah.
check what part of the line I'm in.
Yeah.
But that's the truth of the matter. That's what they do. That's how they ask. That's how they try to communicate with us in the aspect of trying to measure
Yeah.
where we are,
Gauge.
and that's
Yeah.
not fair. Yeah, you don't. I don't need you to engage with me like that. I even had this one guy. I was talking and on a call at work, and he said to me, he said, "Oh, you know about that?" I said, "Yeah. Why wouldn't I?" And he was like, "I just didn't think you would know something like that." I said, "Why? Because I'm a girl." I said it to see where he was at about the whole girl thing, because I was the only girl on the call, but I also was the only black person. But I'm like, why? Because I'm a girl. He was like, haha, yeah. Because you thinking I'm stupid because I don't speak up that much, because I don't want to engage in your conversation. Because if
Right.
I engage, you find out what I like or know, then you're going to expect more. And I'm not giving you that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that's so. Would you say at any point, no matter whether you were culturized and with having different races around you, that there's something embedded naturally in you against the other person?
Mm, I don't think it has to do with race.
Hmm.
I would say if there's an order, I would say education, and then I would say sexuality. And the reason I say that is because oftentimes, most times than not, when I'm having conversation, regardless of who the person is, they always say, "You know what? You're very well spoken."
Oh, that would have
That's
pissed me off.
that's one of that's mostly what they will say. And then I have a different thought, but anyway, and then the other part that I think they may have an issue or challenged with or feel maybe threatened by would be my sexuality, right? One, hopefully they don't think or feel as though or walk away from the conversation as though I want or I'm interested in them. Please
Mm.
no. No ma'am. No
No,
sir.
absolutely not.
But I would say those two things first. Before I said race. That's just my
Right.
experience.
But at the office party, when they drunk,
Yeah.
especially the women,
Yeah.
they want to come up there. No, if
Real
rock it,
frisky.
if you don't get off me, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's. But no, I think but I will agree. I think because of the geographical experience,
Yeah.
it's different from everyone. Because if you would talk to 10 people from where I'm from, nine and a half have the same concept,
Mm-hmm.
and we use the same phrases. Except now, I ain't gonna lie, my sister. Now, when she say the word cracker, it got the hard R in it. It's like she roll her throat with it. I like,
Yeah.
dang, that
Yeah.
must have got you good. She
Woo.
can't stand it at all. But it's like, but when she get mad, she goes at it. Me, I'm going to educate you intellectually in an assault. I'm hurt your feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why would you think that? Put them back on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Say, you know what? I thought you would be the one to say something like that. What do you mean? Don't worry about it. You've already proven yourself and walk
Mm-hmm.
off. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're going to try to figure out, it ain't for that. I leave a little mystery.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But no,
I would
it's a lot.
I would say in this climate, right, we may even get a lot of people of color that might think or choose otherwise, right? That just came to me, right? In this
Mhm.
climate with this administration, especially with ISIS rolling around in these streets, a lot of people may change their thoughts or their answer based on what's going on right now.
I think so too, but they still want our protection
Okay.
because we're not good enough to exist but what we offer is more than good enough because it's a true saying that a lot of Middle Eastern, Indian, not Native American, but regular Indians with the little dot and all of them, they teach their children if you're ever in trouble, find a black person. Why? If we're so bad and so detrimental to society,
Mm-hmm.
why would you train your child to find us for safety? Then, when you look at child rearing, who did the most child rearing back then? You trusted us to bring your children up, even on our own milk.
Absolutely.
But yet and still, we was not good enough to sit in your front room. So do you just think less of your children, or we're only good for what we can produce?
Mm.
Same thing with culture. If we collectively, which we know would never be that because you got that 8% that's just dumb. But if as a collective, if we removed ourselves from the US of A, how long do you think it will last? That it will last?
Hmm. People of color?
If all people of color, well, let's just stick with black people.
Okay.
If black people of color would leave the United
Wow.
States as a collective, how long will the United States last?
You know what? That is a really good question. I don't know. I think I don't know how to answer that because I can't even imagine that concept. Like I can't even begin to picture that.
I would
I
take a
don't know.
wild guess. Yeah, I would take a wild guess. 10 years max.
Huh. Then the other part of that question is where would we be if we're not here? Where would we be?
Anywhere where we're accepted. We can go to Mexico and we're accepted despite what the TV tells you.
Okay.
We can go to places, they're going to show you the incidents. We can go to Jamaica and be accepted.
Okay.
We can go anywhere and be accepted. Now, there are some places that have gotten the mindset of the United States, but it doesn't mean we're not going to be accepted certain parts.
Mhm.
So if you can go somewhere else and live peaceably, and I know it's a lot to think about how to un-Americanize yourself because you done got used to certain things. And
Right.
then you want to figure out, well, we're the original, we are the aboriginals here. So why do we have to leave? But because you said you don't need us and we're a detriment, let's call it to the table. If we take our values somewhere else, because we know how to build society,
Mhm.
regardless of the little fault and flaws,
And thrive.
and thrive. We know how to make ends meet. We know how to cultivate. We know how we can honestly operate in every trade possible.
Yeah. 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 All good points. I just cannot imagine that. Like as you're talking, I'm hearing you and I'm removing, like different visions and
Mm,
thoughts and things. I just can't imagine. I think 10 years is just being generous, to be
yeah,
honest.
companies would crash. We are, because we can't take out the fact that we are the largest economic point in the economy,
Yeah. I think a lot of us
the
don't know that
largest.
or understand what that actually means, how that translates to day and business. Yeah. What you say? I think black women, gay or straight, are trailblazers.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Leaders,
Absolutely.
soldiers with life because we know that we can educate ourselves, hold the family together through hard times and stand strong when others try to tear us down. Absolutely, Dion.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Because when you go to different countries and see those Jamaicans that's 100 years old and
Yeah.
they're walking around still going to pick out their garden and they're cognitive. They can think, they can move. What are we doing? What are we intaking? So if we started changing ourselves and becoming more one with our natural created being, where our bodies is aligned, outlive, black don't crack. We'll be on a whole no two different level. And I think, like you said, if we and then come down to the LGBT, the second highest consumers in the economy. The two most, oh, we're higher than Asians. We're high because they circulate in their own. They get
Yeah.
Toyotas, Hondas, Honda. They don't circulate out, they circulate in. Even if it's sold in the United States, it's still a foreign company car.
Hmm. Hmm.
We're higher than Mexicans. Just because they're very good at trades doesn't mean they're circulating. It's not in them to do that. That's why they have 15 in the house. It's about sharing for
Yeah.
them. That's a
Yeah.
natural part of them. Same thing
Yeah.
like Asians. Like when I used to, when I first moved here, I picked up a paper route over in Ellicott City, just doing little odd jobs, trying to bring money in. And and I dropped the paper off to this Asian house, and it had to be like 10 cars. And this was like 4 o'clock in the morning. How many people live here? But you have communities like Africans, Asians, and Mexicans. They do group housing, but we don't look at community activities as a benefit because we want our own because we've been deprived of our own.
Okay. I can see that.
I'm telling you, if we could just wake up and if we start early teaching our children how beautiful their existence is, not just the color of your skin, just your existence. Why people, and this is true information,
Mm-hmm.
why people would consume us because they wanted to take in what they thought was our essence.
Mm-hmm. And duplicate, yeah.
To eat us, and you thought that that was going to give you more brain power? So, how valuable are we? That would be a call to our community. How valuable are you?
Mm-hmm.
And why do you look at yourself so without any value based off of someone who sees more value in you, but it's better to tell you that you don't have value so that it'll continue to eat in here?
Manipulation, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
big Ike Turner.
Yeah. A great segue into one of my questions that I have written down, right? When did you first learn about being black in your household or in your life that you can recall?
Day one. And it was in a negative way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. When you don't know your skin color until somebody tell you you're black like your daddy.
Mm,
So I know how you
gotcha.
feel about him.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing you can say is I'm black like my daddy, and I know how you feel about him. So that means I ain't shit either.
Gotcha.
What about you?
Mine was at church. Mine was at church, and it was, of course, from a spiritual, religious aspect, and that celebration of your blackness and your
Mhm.
heritage and where you came from and your ancestors and the people who came before you, and then again, it was even louder, I would say, and when we moved to Birmingham, because now we're exposed to my great great grandmother and all of people that she knew and know, and then my aunts, my great aunts and uncles, who also, were around the same ages as all the civil rights leaders, right? Some of them
Mhm.
knew or associated with them. Like, so for me, it was always, or it was at a very young age, but it was never in a negative way that I had to take. Even you mentioned earlier colorism. My brother's, well, when he was, I don't know what color he is now. When we were younger, he was he was lighter skinned than I am. And I still, even then as a kid, I did not, or I did not feel different, amongst our family members or other family members. And we have an array of people in our family from different shades of brown. So it just wasn't my experience.
Mhm.
But I first learned about being black and celebrating our blackness in church. But we was always in church, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother part.
Yeah.
That's like part 13, because with the whole deconstructing of Christianity in the black
Hmm.
community, it has us split, and I love it. I love it.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I could see that, and now I could say when I went to college for the first time, where I saw the celebration of Black people.
Hmm.
So I thought that was amazing, because it was I was raised in a house with one person from the greatest generation, one person from the solid generation, and one baby boomer.
Hmm.
And so all three of them had a different perspective. The one from, which one is the oldest? The greatest generation, the silent? I think the greatest. My great grandma,
Okay.
she was, we passed the water hose thing. I'm gonna pick up a stick and beat you down. But then her daughter, my grandma, she was that, where I played golf. I'm going to blend in.
Okay.
So then you get to my mama, the baby boomer, who ain't no life from up or down. And so when you have those three different type of experiences, you experience celebrating Black different.
Okay.
Because my great grandma, she she was a conjure woman. So she was in her heritage, her root working. She was that, but she was also in church,
Mm-hmm.
so she was the epitome of black woman. She cooked. They had businesses. My great grandma back then had a whole convertible. You ain't never heard about stuff like that.
Yeah.
She had that life. But then when you get to my grandma, her daughter, she wanted to blend in with her white counterparts more. So then that's the life she tried to make us be. That's why light skin was prettier.
Okay.
But then when you get my mom and she's just confused by it, she didn't, I don't know what it was. Yeah, that's just that. So I think I lean more towards my great grandma because that's who I learned. She raised me. I would live
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah.
So I learned to celebrate our blackness because of our spirituality, to celebrate the beauty of our blacks because of the community we was in. We went to Mother Phil Pot, who owned the used appliance store at the corner,
Okay.
the candy lady.
Yeah.
Then you had the people coming around that would sell you meat and stuff like that. Everything we had was right there. We didn't
Yeah.
have to go to the grocery store. You know,
Yeah.
they had their own little greens and corn and stuff like that in the backyard.
Mm-hmm. The garden. Yeah.
Exactly. And they made clothes. So yeah, I mean, granted, you went to J.C. Penney's on a special occasion. You went to
Okay.
Sears
Mm-hmm.
because grandma had a good J.C. Penney card.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like it was a beauty. It was a mixed beauty, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Gotcha. How would you say, um, I, can you actually love your blackness and still be exhausted by racism? Does that make sense?
I think I understand it. Um, so how can you still love your blackness and be exhausted by racism? I
Hmm.
think, but who's getting exhausted?
So I take it as, can you be exhausted and still oh, can you love your blackness? So oftentimes I feel like just recently, within the last 4 or 5 years or so, they've introduced or added to the calendar Juneteenth, right? So
Mhm.
excuse me, there's sometimes there's uproars or seasons, I'll say seasons, where there's a loudness or a uproar of, being black and celebrating black, and black is everywhere. There's black networks, there's black television shows, there's black festivals, there's all this blackness, right? And then that dies down because maybe something happened, or one person, is tarnished this thing or that. So can it be exhausting? I think that I think as black people as a culture, right?
Mhm.
Um, we go through these seasons and not fully understand that other people are not going to always be on board. Just like you said, other
Right.
people are not. There's 8% that is just dumb, right? Everybody's not going to be able to celebrate you. They're not going to even acknowledge you. You got to be okay with that. It doesn't mean you're any less than. You still
Mhm.
are great. You
Mhm.
still are made in His image. Don't allow the noise, the outside noise, to influence how you feel about yourself.
Right.
So can people get exhausted? I think sometimes people do get exhausted, but
I can
not
see that.
not for the same reasons, right? We always have to, in my opinion, we always have to celebrate us. We always have to acknowledge us and the accomplishments and the things that we've done.
Hmm.
Never mind the outside people who don't, they ain't gonna rock with you anyway.
Right. But then to take that further, and I totally get what you're saying, and to take that further, the N word, when they're using it to
Hmm.
degrade you,
Hmm.
granted, I still feel punch them in their face, but before you do that, you got to understand that's the only thing they have.
Mm,
That's the only weapon that they have in that moment because they're
yeah.
so less than that they have to pull out the hard R to try to hurt you. But then when you punch
Or
them in their
seemingly
face,
hurt you.
yeah,
Yeah.
seemingly. But then when you punch them in their face, then all of a sudden, what did I do? What do you mean, what did you do?
Yeah.
So if we understand, yes, consequences, actions do deserve consequences. However, the sting of that word in an argument,
Yeah.
it means they have nothing else.
Yeah.
And you're that mad that that's all you can say.
Yeah. I get it.
It's like if like you get into an argument with a fat girl and the first thing like you're fat, is you like, you ain't got nothing else because it ain't, why is it bothering you?
Gotcha.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so not that we should soften the consequence of them using that word because you got to learn. Where you
Yeah.
cut up, you get effed up wherever you cut up. It's just the point that we have to realize they have nothing else left.
True.
And in their head, they think that word still has the same leverage that
Hmm.
it does. And it's like, no, it doesn't. Now, I'm still slicing your throat, but just want to let you know it ain't hurt as bad.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was that.
Yeah. Just as long as you're comfortable who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Absolutely.
think that's it because I love the beauty of everything I represent, everything that I've accomplished, and I walk around with it on my shoulder
Hmm.
because I earned it. And regardless on how anybody, especially because we both work in government, they try to use merit. And we're like, then you should automatically give it to us because we have the merit. You know, that's
Hmm.
just the bottom line. Every line you've put in the sand, we've crossed it 3 times. Because it
And
was at one
excelled.
point in Excel, because at one point, to get the best jobs, you had to graduate. Okay, then we graduated. Now you need associates. We got associates. Now you need a bachelor. Okay, wait a minute. You're gonna keep moving it. And I seen one job, they was literally paying like 30 something dollars an hour, and you had to have a doc. They preferred someone with a doctorate. I said, wait a minute. No, that piece of paper costs more than what you paying.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. No,
So
I
yeah,
get you.
so we excel in everything that
And
we
that's
do.
the threatening part. Like
And
that just celebrate it, you know what I'm saying? Like I cannot, you know what? I wouldn't want to go through life just hating another race because of superiority. Just because they're
when we're
I
superior,
feel right that they may be superior to me. I don't want to hate like I'm gonna spend all my life hating you because you're great. Like that makes no sense to me.
if we could get people, Keisha, if we can get people to get the understanding that because of who you are, they're willing to create a book of moral laws and call it the Bible against you. Not only that, they're willing to remove you from every fabric of good. Why?
Hmm.
If you're not that great.
Right.
If you're really not great, they're so willing to systematically degrade you to make sure you don't excel if you're so great. So, how them people being so superior have to do all of that to make sure one particular group do not excel past them if you're so superior. If I'm that superior, why do I care? Why do I care about you if I'm greater?
Hmm.
And then and I know this definitely will poke some the bear. Even in Jewish history,
Hmm.
they do everything possible to remove who's the original Jew, which is, and I got a whole list of them, the Cubans, the Puerto Ricans, the African Americans. These certain groups are linked directly by blood to one of the tribes of Israel, but never them. So what did they do? They created this history. I'm not saying not the history that we know on record. We're talking about in America.
Mm-hmm.
They created a history of a country that only been established a couple of hundred years. Well, not even really a couple of hundred years. Not Israel as a people, Israel as a country. It just got here. So how you just got here when Jesus was 2,000 plus years old? So y'all are willing to create a narrative just to remove us because you know the truth. And if we can get the concept that everybody knows more truth about us than us, it'll make you ask, what is it about me that makes you so mad? Because even if you look back to the Native Americans, and when America became about in 1776, there were Black Native Americans already here,
Mm-hmm.
mainly the Blackfoot. So who was here? When did y'all get here? So again, you're willing to remove everything that's good and right to degrade one group. And we, as that group, won't stop to say, what? Why? And that gives me a sense of pride. Why are you going through all of this?
Right.
If you, just like when you fighting with your baby daddy, if you don't want them, why are you still out there fighting with them? Think about that. You said you don't want them no more. Why are you chasing after them?
Right.
Why are you running down the street? Get in this car. You ain't going home with her. Yes, he is. Like, like, come on. And that's what I want our people to get to. A place of knowing. And when you know who you really are, because they know. That's why they want you so dumbfounded in Christianity that they don't want you to connect with your original self in God. They want to give you a God to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way you're telling me that the God that says servants obey your masters is the one that I should be hooping and hollering about.
Mm-hmm.
But if I step out of those bounds, now I'm wrong. No, it's got to be more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we could just come to that understanding, I promise you it will shift us and our thinking and in our movement to where we're not operating in a level below where we need to operate to get ahead. Because
Mm-hmm.
to get ahead doesn't mean I have to do better than you. Everybody's going to be on different levels. To get ahead is my own level of success, and I don't care about yours.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need to ask you, what do you do?
Yeah,
This is why
absolutely.
we do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Dion, I agree. I think that life started in Africa. I do believe that also. Yeah.
Because the thing is, every other culture teach their history except us, because we're taught that it doesn't matter. But the history they teach us is dogs, water hoses, can't sit at a counter to get some tasteless potatoes.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Also, a lot of it was lost because when they removed us from the motherland, a lot of the things that happened, a lot of the rituals, a lot of the practices, a lot of the languages, they stripped us from those things, right? So it's fuzzy in terms of what. Okay, they're just coming in late. In terms of what actually happened and what us as a culture actually what who we are, what we believe in, how we, take care of ourselves, how we show up for our families, what we look like as a family. All of that was taken away from us. So we're having to piece it back together. And like you said, and we're still thriving because of
Still,
it.
you take it all and we still find a way.
Yes.
Even if it's selling crack, we still find a way.
Relentless. Okay.
Relentless. But
About it.
but look at that. You said a mouthful when it came down to them, the way they try to switch in our mind. You teaching us a certain thing because you know that if we knew our truth, how it would supersede what you're teaching. So what they did was they established a public school system because we were being taught at home.
Mm-hmm.
We just couldn't tell you we knew how to read. But in the school system, it was, well, we're going to make sure you just read this. So that now it takes so much time to take it out of you. By the time you get freed, you're an adult doing my bidding. They don't fight any other community on educating their own children. But if they know if we start educating ours, matter of fact, it was in a study. The reason why they started integrating schools is because they found out that the black schools were excelling more. So what they do is go burn them down, restructure the zone, and then make you go to a failing school where the test scores are going to be like this across the board because we were excelling better. That's just naturally us. Y'all just got to get used to that. That's the beauty of being black. That is our superpower.
Uh-huh.
That is literally our superpower. And even if you did want to go in the Bible, the enslaved individuals, the people was trying to kill them after the childbirth. What I think it's in not number. I don't want to say Chronicles. It's in one of them older books. And when the king was like, kill all of the slave children, they said we can't because they recover too quickly and we can't get to them. And who that sound like? Because I know my wife had a kid, and the next day after she got to the hospital, she was at the grocery store with that whole newborn baby.
Mm.
I'm telling you, I want our community to get so into us. You're going to have those little fallouts. I get that. But the basic, the 92% of us, you can't tell me we can't. Nah, you can't tell me. Because even the neighborhoods like Baltimore used to say, oh, they're so blighted. They're this, they are. But when they don't have nowhere to go, no resources to fix it up, then it's going to exist the way it is. If you're in a box and you don't see any type of light coming in that box, you're going to automatically think it's always darkness. When they did the study on that elephant, the elephant was chained up so long, but then when they took the chain off, he still stayed there thinking that he was
Mm-hmm.
still chained.
Mm-hmm.
That's why neighborhoods can't grow, is because you've kept them chained. Now that the chain is off, they still feel chained. I'm telling you, we got some work to do. But
Harriet Tubman said she would have freed more slaves. Only they didn't know they were slaves.
that part, like that one that's running for Florida. You seen the black guy that's running for governor?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
He's such an embarrassment.
Oh wow.
He would have
I
been the
think
one that got shot.
oh wow. I think that you've answered the question, right? If you could change, would you want to be white?
Mm-mm. I
My
need to
answer is
come
no.
back. Yeah, absolutely no. And I hate that for them. That now they need white power in order to feel relevant. Okay,
Mm,
you got that Monday. I mean, you got it Monday through Friday.
yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, I think we've answered the question. We would love again to hear you all's perspective. And if if you had the choice or if you had the ability to wake up and choose to be white, if you're black, would you actually do it? And why? I'd love to hear it.
I would love to know the why.
Yeah.
So please, we might even put a little poll so we can see who all thinks that, because then we got to unfollow you. No, bro. Right?
Right, right. So what do you think about the Tatum is a negative about black people and he's black? Um, I don't know that I know Tatum. Do you know Tatum?
No, I know a lot of them that's out there though.
Yeah, right. If it's unless it's the guy that I'm thinking about, I can't forget. I can't think of the other guy who is his alternate on the podcast or his co-star or co-host.
What's the podcast?
Um, ah, what's this? Okay, that's what I'm talking about, Dion. Um, I'm thinking the podcast that I'm thinking of is like more of a sports commentary. I don't know if his name is Tatum though. Um, but anyway, nonetheless, we're not going to hold you any longer. Thank you so much again for those who joined, for those who did comment. Please again share. If you had the ability to wake up tomorrow or to change your race, if you could be white, would you do it? We want to know.
We want to
Uh
know.
oh, Officer Tatum. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Um
Oh, the one he was on the Jubilee thing.
Brandon Tatum. Okay.
Yeah, I think he was on the Jubilee thing. He had like all the people that was pro black versus him. I think I saw that one. If it's the
Okay.
one I'm thinking of, I can't stand him. Like he wouldn't have no Achilles heel if it was me. Mm-mm.
Gotcha. Well, listen, travel safe. We will check you guys, or we'll check in with you all. We're gonna have some reels. Make sure that you engage, you like, comment, and share. Again, this is Regal Mindset. Keep a Regal Mindset, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. You
Stay
guys be safe.
black.
That's what I'm talking about.